Well, today's primaries in Indiana and Ohio kicked off what will be the busiest month of the 2022 midterm primary season. These results giving us an early look at just how slim the margins will be and how much political pull former President Trump still has in the Midwest. America looking to learn who will win key races, including Ohio's GOP Senate nomination. That winner there could go on to claim the open seat, leaving just one more seat for the GOP to flip in order to gain control of the U.S. Senate next year. Kelly Beeson joins us now. So, Kelly, it's still early in the election season, but already a lot at stake.
Yeah, you're right, Nicole. We have a live look in Cleveland where polls are set to close in just hours. Low voter turnout could indicate that a red wave this November may not rise as high as Democrats fear, but a spike in turnout could foreshadow huge enthusiasm that sends Republicans to the polls in droves this November. Among the high-profile races happening in Ohio, the Senate race on the GOP side has emerged as arguably one of the hardest fought in the country thus far. Former President Donald Trump throwing his support behind candidate J.D. Vance in mid-April, providing an 11th-hour jolt that sent the author to the top of the polls.
He's a fearless MAGA fighter. He fights like crazy, and he loves Ohio.
The move likely providing insight into the strength of Trump's kingmaker status in a state where he won both the 2016 and 2020 presidential elections.
This will be a test of his political power going into 2022. It will show how in tune he is and how he is with the Republican base and really how in tune they are with him.
And the Ohio Senate primary results will have nuance. Every other major GOP candidate, excluding Matt Dolan, have looked to embrace Trump as well. Operatives in Ohio say that if Vance loses, it would likely be due to the public relations blitz his opponents waged, casting him as a never-Trumper, underscoring how dearly GOP voters prize loyalty to Trump.
The elites were right about Donald Trump, right? I'm a never Trump guy.
While Tim Ryan appears to be the front runner on the Democratic side, the candidate who emerges on top of the GOP ticket will be significant. Overall, a Republican or Democratic Senate win would have far-reaching implications.
Whichever way it swings could determine really the majority of the Senate and, which way the Senate leans.
Ohio's GOP gubernatorial primary is also shaping up to be a key gauge of how deep the sentiment against coronavirus restrictions has seeped. Governor Mike DeWine faced a wave of pushback over early coronavirus restrictions, becoming a cornerstone of his rivals' campaigns.
DeWine represented fear over freedom. He cost Ohio big time. So many jobs are gone. Local businesses perished.
And lower down on the ballot, Ohio's also hosting one of the most prominent Democratic House primaries in the country. Reportedly, Shontel Brown making it clear she is a President Biden supporter, and her more progressive opponent, State Senator Nina Turner, making it clear she does not support the president.
Ohio, I don't think, is fully a progressive state. The Democrats there, I don't think, are progressives in the way that Nina Turner is. However, she, is a former state senator. She has a history in Ohio, obviously. So that's a race to watch.
And in Indiana, more than a dozen Indiana House members are trying to hold off Republican primary challengers who argue that the GOP-dominated legislature hasn't been aggressive enough on issues from attempting to ban abortion to overturning COVID-19 restrictions that were ordered by the state's Republican governor. Whether the challengers can defeat the incumbents should be answered in today's primary. Nichole.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much for that. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.